What's up, guys? It's the Mando back again with another video. Today I kind of wanted to talk about where the Mandalorian is going. As far as episode 13 is the last video that we got, or chapter 13, not episode 13, but chapter 13, the Ahsoka reveal. So there's still a lot of questions on a lot of people's minds. Obviously the last time that we get to see Moff Gideon, he is working with what we believe to be dark troopers in a relatively small light cruiser, which was kind of odd. I mean, to me, I feel like someone of a Moff stature should be on a bigger ship. And, people are, making excuses for him, basically saying that they're using that ship as a specialty to develop the Dark Trooper. I don't know, but I do feel like that fleet should be a lot bigger. Someone of his stature should be on a Star Destroyer. So, yeah, it left me personally asking a lot of questions that they would put him on a ship that small. But, I mean, he has mentioned that there is a fleet. You get that in the Bo-Katan reveal. When they steal that ship, he says that, they can't track him down to the fleet or something like that. So, the question remains, when will we see him? I think we could see him when Grogu gets to Tython. I think that when they put him on the Seeing Stone, maybe that's when they activate the beacon and Gideon comes looking, if that makes any sense. So I think that would be really cool. I think that there's also the possibility now of Thrawn showing up. And honestly, a lot of people have been having this debate as to whether Thrawn is the big bad or Gideon is the big bad. And realistically, in Rebels, you see Governor Price kind of bow down to Thrawn. Which, of course, in Rebels, I'm pretty sure she's only a governor. But I'm not 100% sure on that because I do see other lore saying that she was a Moff. So if she's a Moff, then she was definitely giving respect to Thrawn, which was kind of interesting because Thrawn is a military admiral, and the Moffs are more of a political party, if that makes the connect work for some of y'all. I think that Thrawn is the leader, basically, of the Empire at this point. There's nobody higher ranking than him that I know of right now. So, without any other evidence, I would say that if Thrawn is still out there, Thrawn is the highest ranking member of the Imperial Remnant. So, the question then becomes, is he back? Where's Ezra? So, what I think that we'll see is some sort of spin-off show where we get to see their story. I really don't think we'll see Thrawn in this season of Mando. I really don't. I think maybe in an Ahsoka spin-off or something of that nature, but I don't see us seeing Thrawn before this season ends. More likely that we see maybe like Luke. I think we see Luke. And maybe that's just like me hoping, but I think we see Luke. I think that Luke could really come out and reach out to Grogu. I think I touched on this a little bit in my season, or in my breakdown after Chapter 13 came out. So if you haven't already watched that, go ahead and watch that. So I'm really excited to kind of see what we will get with those people and how that's going to all work out. But another thing is, I think we could see a battle for Mandalore shaping up. I don't think we're that far off from that. Obviously, we've been over Bo-Katan is interested in getting the Darksaber back from Gideon and uniting Mandalore. Obviously, you get some really weird dialogue from Din Djarin saying that Mandalore is, like a wasteland. So I think that it could be kind of weird for them to be fighting over a wasteland, but depending on how important their homeworld is to that group of Mandalorians, it could be feasible. So I'm excited to see kind of where they go with that and how Ahsoka fits into this entire puzzle. Obviously, Dave Filoni has came out recently and said that he believes that this Ahsoka epilogue that happened in Rebels, where you see her and Sabine go off to find Ezra and Thrawn, could be actually after when The Mandalorian is taking place, which is really kind of mind-bending to me. So you might not even see Ahsoka the White until way later. But another thing I kind of wanted to bust wide open is I think this last episode of the Mando has really proven that Ahsoka is the embodiment of the light side. She is the sister. And I really think she's probably more pure than even Luke or any of the other Jedi we've ever seen. She's not as jaded as the Council was. And I don't know. I mean, personally, I feel like you see a few of these hints of dark side in Luke. Obviously, he's never overtaken by it, but at least in current canon, I mean, which I don't really like to point towards Episode 8 to show you the character of Luke, because obviously it's a complete violation of what Luke was in the original trilogy. But, I mean, that whole, like, trying to kill his nephew thing in his sleep, that was definitely odd. And even if you don't want to include that, I mean, how about that Force joke from Return of the Jedi? I think we've seen darker sides of Luke before, and I think that, which, don't get me wrong, like, this isn't to say that he's not the chosen one, the greatest Jedi that ever, like, don't get me wrong, but I do think that, he's not the complete embodiment of the light side. So I think that's Ahsoka's role. And the question is, where does she play into all this? Obviously, you don't see Ahsoka in any of the new sequel movies. So where does she go? What is she doing? And obviously, we don't see Grogu in the sequels. So those are certain things where I believe they might sect off from Luke's Jedi Academy and go do their own thing, whether it be somewhere away from where Luke is operating or in a completely different galaxy, which that could honestly be where Ezra and Thrawn have been slingshotted into by the Purgle. So that's something completely crazy that we've never seen before, but I think it would explain where all these people are. And obviously, now you have Cal Kestis to wonder about, which, for all we know, Cal Kestis could be dead at this point, but I really, as a fan of the video game, would love to see him incorporated into this new season of The Mandalorian. Or possibly even any more of the Disney TV shows that are going to come out on Disney+. So another thing that they still have to include in this season is, or at least I believe that they have to include in this season, is Boba, because we only see Boba for that one snippet, and I think we need to see Sabine. I think Sabine is a really integral character to the Mandalorian culture, so I really want to see those two characters before the season wraps up, and I really want to see Luke. If they could do like a de-aged Luke, or even bring in like Sebastian Stan to, maybe get his face CGI'd over or something with a de-aged Luke, I think that would be really cool. I would love to see that. So I think that there's a lot of opportunities for The Mandalorian, going on, and I really think that the child Grogu could be the first, or not the first, but could be a Mandalorian Jedi. So I would love to see that as well, and I would actually really like to see Grogu kind of not train himself, but maybe not get formal training. Maybe he trains as a Mandalorian under Din Djarin and just kind of stumbles through the Force and has to kind of teach himself. I think that would be a really cool story arc. And I'm not saying that he would be able to learn everything, but maybe just through wandering the galaxy with Din Djarin, he just picks stuff up from different force sensitive beings, or things like that. Like, I feel like even in the Star Wars, or even in nature in Star Wars, there are lessons to be learned from everything all around you, and I think that the Jedi of old incorporated that into their teachings, and I think that realistically, it's not unheard of for a Jedi to kind of train themselves, or work things out themselves. Obviously, Rey did that. I mean, a lot of people say that Rey just knew. That's my question, or that was my problem with the sequel trilogy, is that Rey, you never see like a training montage. You don't see her just pick things up. That's not. Rey was good the second that you saw her in Episode 7, and really only got better in 8 and 9. So that was kind of problematic only in that way, because you don't see any of the training. You don't see her pick up any of the lessons from anyone. She just knows it. So to see Grogu kind of stumble through working with the Force, and maybe Din there to just kind of provide advice on the side. Obviously, he's not Force sensitive, at least that's what we think. But to see him, be able to try to help Grogu, I think that would be a really cool arc. If we could see Grogu kind of grow up and train to be a Mandalorian, I would love that. I really think that would be one of the most interesting things ever. And one of the questions I've kind of been curious about is, how is Grogu going to sound when he talks? Obviously, you have Yoda who talks in these riddles, and talks backwards. But we never really heard Yaddle, at least in live action. And she's the only other one of Yoda's race that we see. So the child is possibly going to be is going to be the second one of his species to be on screen and possibly even speak. So I really am curious to see how they're going to tackle his speech, what he's going to sound like, and how that's going to work exactly. Obviously, I've been kind of all over the place in this video. This is just kind of for speculation for the second half of The Mandalorian. And I really want to hear y'all's thoughts on it. Obviously, I'm just kind of spitballing and seeing what might come out of it. But go ahead and leave your comments and suggestions in the comment section. I definitely want to hear more from the community and see, what you guys think, and maybe even make videos about what you guys think. So, that being said, this has been it for me. This is the Merry Mando. So, signing off. See you later. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. This has been the Merry Mando. Enjoy the rest of your day, and may the Force be with you.